Today, I want to talk about the concept of anti planning. During this season, it's so easy to get caught up in all the things you're going to do next year and putting together that perfect plan. But the result of that is that you often are adding, adding, and adding. And with all that addition is complexity. And that complexity is the enemy. Today, I want to talk about the concept of anti planning, 5 strategies or tests or approaches that we can take to do anti planning. And by the time we get to the end, we're going to put together a 1-page anti plan that you can take into 2026 to help you achieve more and get less distracted. The whole concept behind anti planning is we're using subtraction as a strategy. Subtraction as a strategy is the permission to stop doing things that are draining ROI, clarity, and momentum. And again, this is something that's really hard to do because our natural inclination is just to add, and add. The problem with complexity is that it slows decisions, blurs priorities, creates fuzzy accountability, stalls execution. If we instead look towards subtraction, it directs our attention to the things that are most important, which is going to allow us to get the highest return on our money. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 methods that we can adopt to create an anti-planning mindset or subtraction mindset within our business. The first one of these tools is what we call the identity test. Is it's looking at the things in your business and saying, if looking at actually assessing, would I start this again if I was starting it today? If the answer to that is no, you should immediately stop what you're doing and reassess. Too many times we fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy of we've already put this much time, this much effort in, and then refusing to reevaluate, is this the path we want to continue to go? So this identity test helps us look at all the things that we're working on and ask that key question and forces us to reckon with that. The next one is the excuses test. If something has been almost ready or about to start it, or we're going to move it forward for, say, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, we know because we're putting that off that it is not the immediate priority. The other thing that the excuses test highlights, that if this is just an excuse because we're intimidated, that excuses test should identify the things that we've put off. We can then evaluate that against the things that we're doing and ask which is most important. So we have 2 ends of the spectrum. We have the excuses, the things that we've put off, but it's the reality is they're not that important. And we have the things that we've put off because they are important. We're intimidated. And using this test forces us to evaluate that list and determine what is important versus what's not. The next one is the fix it later test. Is anytime you keep saying we're going to fix it later, it's probably the thing that's hurting your business. And so when we think of this in terms of anti-planning, the reason we're fixing it later is because we're busy with so many other things. So we want to look at that fix it later group. Again, evaluate for what's important, what's not, determine which one of those are strangling the business, and then think about, when you said this fix it later, what other things are you doing that are distracting from that fix it later? The next one is a tool that I introduced last year when we talked about annual planning, and this is the impact-competency matrix. It's look at all of your projects and identify how high or low impact is it? How high or low competency is it? Like, what amount of competency does it require? And then evaluate. For things that are high impact, high competency, that you're really good at, these are where your initiatives should lie. If you're low impact, low competency, if you're doing those things, you should kill those things immediately. If it's low impact, high competency, meaning you're very good at it, those are things that we should automate or simplify. We don't want to spend our time there, but we don't want to stop those things. And then the things that are high impact, low competency, that's where we should decide, do we continue forward with these, or do we find the right partner to train, hire, or work with, or otherwise defer this to a later time when we can put the right attention in? Too many times we do these things halfway, and when we do them halfway, we're basically not doing them at all. So look at that, identify what area it falls into, and then based off of the segment that it falls into, we determine if we're going to continue forward, if we're going to hire, train, or partner, if we're going to automate or simplify, or if we're going to kill. The last one that we're going to talk about today is what I call the business inventory. And it's looking through your business at all the things that you're doing, and it's putting 3 labels on them. It's, we're going to keep this, we're going to evaluate it, and we're going to kill it. So the way we do this is, I want you to go through 4 areas of your business. I want you to go through your income statement. I want you to look at your revenue lines. I want you to look at your cost of goods related to it. I want you to look at your margins. I want you to look at your overhead. Evaluate each line one by one. And we want to evaluate, is this line of revenue something we keep? Is this initiative, marketing initiative, something we keep? Or is it something we evaluate, or something we kill? Oftentimes, you know the things that you need to kill just on a glance, but you've not put the effort towards doing it. Do the same thing on our balance sheet. We can look at our debt, we can look at our assets, we can look at our inventory. There's a lot of things we can look at there. We're not probably going to have near as much as what we had on the income statement to look at, but it's still valuable to look there to make sure that you covered everything in the income statement. We're going to look at our operations. This can be our marketing and sales metrics. This can be our efficiency metrics. We're going to look at across the board, whatever you're doing in operations, and we're going to ask, should we keep, evaluate, or kill? And then last, we're going to look at our calendar and our meetings. What meetings are no longer useful? What things are taking our time that are distracting from the things that we should actually be focusing on? And we're again going to evaluate for keep, evaluate, and kill. Once you've gone through these 5 tests, you can choose and pick what you want to do. You can do 1, do all 5, whatever that looks like. I want you to simplify this, because again, the whole point of this anti-plan is for you to simplify your focus in your business. And I want you to put on 1 page, what are the 3 things we will stop? What are the 3 things we will simplify? 3 things we will protect, and the 1 thing we will pursue with focus. Once you've gone through 1 or 5 of these tests, you should have the information you need to fill this out. And then keep this 1-pager and have this 1-pager be the source of truth of anytime a new plan comes up, anytime you're getting distracted, revert back to looking at this 1-pager and identifying, are you stopping the things you said you'd stop? Did you simplify the things you said you're going to simplify? Are you protecting the most important things? And are you maintaining your focus on that one thing you said you're going to maintain your focus? This 1-pager can become the entire strategic focus for the business. Too often, we drop a whole document that's a 10-page strategic plan, and we say, this is what we're going to focus on. But people don't know where to put their eyes. By putting together this 1-page plan, it can be just for you, or it can be for the whole team. But this 1-page plan is something that you can go back to time and time again to identify, are we doing the things we said we're going to do? Too often, we default to ambition, to chasing the next new thing. And we don't look at, where do we actually need to make cuts? Where do we actually need to simplify? And often, the highest leverage thing you can do is reduce, 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 which will then force your focus to the most important thing, and then allow you to hit that thing over and over again until you get to the breakthrough. Killing complexity unlocks speed, clarity, and confidence in the direction you're heading. So let's make next year better by, instead of adding to what we're doing, subtracting our way back to momentum. Thank you for watching today. If you want to learn more and do more things on annual planning, you can click here and go through the annual planning playlist that I put together. Thanks for watching.